Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's your boy, the resilient Alejandro here, coming with you with another video. This one is gonna be hot. It is gonna be hot. I'll tell you that much right now. Look, I just turned 30 back in March. I was gonna come out with a video about it, but some stuff had happened, both good and bad stuff. And I finally have a chance to sit down, talk with you all, and hopefully provide some value to you. I really want to share some things that I've learned at 30 that I think every man should know about. So whether you're approaching 30, whether you already turned 30, you're 31, 32, 33, I think you should know these 3 things that I'm going to be talking about. And first and foremost, again, thank you for taking the resilient path with me. I appreciate it. Appreciate you being on this journey with me. I share my personal life stories of adversity, grit, resilience, things that I have experienced that I just want to put out there because I think it's a pretty cool thing to do. So respectfully, I'm going to put some things out there and hopefully we're able to, relate to some extent. All right. Again, what I've learned at 30, every man should know this. All right. So, okay, before we get into the video, I want to share that I have created a free ebook. The link is down in the description. It's just a quick 5-minute read. It's about the 3 things that we're going to be going over today. I want to invite you to download that free ebook, get a copy, have it on your have it as a PDF on your phone, read it when you're able to. Again, it's about a 5-minute read of what we're going to be going over today. All right, the first thing, every man needs a mentor. Stop trying to do it alone. So, even to this day, I struggle with, except for work, and obviously school. When I was in grad school, you got to collaborate, you got to do projects together, all that stuff. But in life, I think I struggled the most, and I've gotten better at thinking that masculinity is doing things alone, that it is about isolation and getting it done yourself. And quite frankly, I've been wrong so many times about that I can't even fathom some of the missed opportunities that passed me by because I wanted to do things alone. About 4 years ago, I had joined an association, a professional association, and this exposed me to a lot of different individuals. Some individuals who I stay in close contact today, I'm very happy to say that they're my mentors. I'm very happy to say that they assist me with life stuff, but also like with career things. And I've learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from people who aren't even my mentors, people who I see frequently at events and say hi to, we talk. They don't know it, but they provide value to me because I learn from them. One thing I failed to realize, and I wish I would have done earlier, is to have found a mentor. And I have said this in places where I've talked to like high school students or incoming freshmen at undergraduate institutions. And I say, just find yourself a mentor. Ask someone, hey, can I chat with you? Stay in contact with them, things of that nature. And there's so many different things. Again, so many opportunities that I wish I would have taken up, but I was just doing it alone, essentially. Just doing it alone. And I don't think that's the way to go. So again, masculinity is not isolation. Now, let me make 2 more things clear about this, and I'll wrap up on this topic. The first one is that mentorship isn't worship. I think a lot of us confuse that. Well, why you're asking me to basically idolize a person because they're successful or they've done this, they've done that. Look, if they've gotten to where they've gotten, isn't that where you're trying to go? Don't you want to be successful? Don't you want to get from point A to point D? There's a reason why they're at that stage. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying you got to worship them and saying, hey, you got to be on their butt 24/7. But you should understand that some of that they're there for a reason, and I get it, especially in the corporate world. People get passed up for different positions. I totally understand that. Some people get certain positions that they shouldn't really, have gotten. But that's a different topic for another day. So, just again, mentorship doesn't mean worship. And the last thing that I want to talk about mentorship is, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. Now, granted, if you want to be great at something, you need to have a coach. Just like in sports, you need to have a coach in career development. I'd say even in dating, different coach. You should have a coach. But I also believe that mentorship can come from books, it can come from podcasts, and it just can come from the most strangest places that exist. So just don't leave that out. Sometimes the best mentors may or may not be people. It may be other items, is what I'm trying to say. All right, cool. So the second thing that every man should know prior to turning 30 is, are you building or escaping? Master your habits, or they're going to master you. And I think that is super important. When the pandemic started, I gained a lot of weight. I had gotten into a relationship, and then in 2023, that relationship ended, went to a bad breakup, and I measured myself because I noticed I was super just fluffy. Cheeks were super round, waist was super round. Well, my waist came out to about 40 inches. Okay, I was about 38 inches in waist. I'm only 5'6". I'm a short guy. I shouldn't be at that weight. No way. One thing I came to realize is that I didn't stick to the habits that I once did. I was always an athlete ever since high school, even before high school, and after high school. Like going to the gym, like running, like walking. Movement was something that was a necessity every day. And unfortunately, I forgot that as soon as I went into a relationship. So I had built bad habits, whether it was with eating, whether it was binge watching, Netflix, having a sedentary lifestyle, just sitting on my butt every day, or other vices. It was definitely those habits were mastering me. I was not mastering life. Life was mastering me. It was just I was deviating away from the life that I wanted. And I'm still working on all of that stuff. I'm still creating the life that I want. I still have goals, all that stuff. But it was bad. It was super bad. One thing you got to understand is that there's a lot of short-term gratification things out there. And let's be real, for men, it's a lot. It can be a lot of different things that are short-term gratification, that they bring that stuff. And so we got to be careful, because it does distract us from a purpose, whether we have one or we're still trying to figure out. You need to understand that there's this thing called short-term gratification. That's why I'm a big proponent of delayed gratification, because it allows you to be more self-aware. Okay. And by the way, I'm looking down at my notes right here. I'm not doing a script. I want to make sure I'm authentic with you all and that we're in this together. So I'm looking down on my notes here in case you see me going up and down. I've always said something to myself. One thing that stuck with me from John Maxwell, a leadership leader throughout the world, John Maxwell, is that anything worthwhile is all uphill. And I never forgot that. Building is harder. Breaking something is easy, but building takes time. It can take decades, months. You think about a doctor, you think about a lawyer, you think about people who go to grad school, you think about people who go into a trade, right? And they rise through the ranks of their trade, whether it's starting your own electrician business or plumbing business, whatever it is. Building takes time. So that's something you gotta keep in mind as well. At the end of the day, I believe that when you're building, it's gonna be worth it. All right. The third and final thing that I want to talk about is know who you are without the noise. Identity is the foundation. So before chasing purpose, relationships, or success, you have to strip back the layers and get brutally honest with yourself. You got to ask yourself, who am I truly? One thing I realized as I neared 30 is, what are my values? And credit to Darren Hardy, I believe that's his name, from The Compound Effect. That book is really great. I encourage each and every one of you to look at that book and not to look at it, but to read it, right? Don't just look at the book. Read the book. It is a really great book. And if you buy it, it gives you like a worksheet, but it gives you all these different values and it makes you do an exercise. You do the exercise yourself. It doesn't make you. You know what I mean? You got to do it. You got to do the work to get the work and the results, obviously. So, what are your values? Is it health? Is it emotional stability? Is it money? Is it success? Is it prosperity? Right? You gotta. Turning 30 has made me realize who I am. It's made me set my values, the expectations that I have with myself and others, the standards that I have with myself and others, and again, the values. It's almost like having a system in place. Things that I really try and do to be self-aware, because this also means you got to be self-aware if you're trying to find out who you are, right? You're not your job. You're not your degree. You're not how much money you got. You're not the count follower or the following that you have. There's a saying that your obsession becomes your possession. And I've been pondering on that phrase this week, trying to figure it out. It's pretty self-explanatory. I get that. But I want to look into it more deeper and say, how does it relate to me? Because I want to know, what are my obsessions? What are my obsessions? Right now, I can tell you fitness is one of my obsessions. Right now, I can tell you that tracking my macros is one of my obsessions. So let me ask you this. What do you stand for? What are your values? So these lessons didn't come easy. They came from failure, reflection, analyzation, and a lot. It really took a mentor to try and build my life with an intention and to help me evolve. So with this all in mind, everything, this whole topic came from me reflecting on failures, relationships, habits, everything. A lot of different things that I came to realize I needed to change. I needed to address. And I was just super, super timid to even do that. So I just want to ask y'all, what are some things? What are your thoughts? Are there certain things that you realized turning 30 has made you think about? I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me in this video. I will see you in the next one. Stay resilient, build wisely, lead boldly, and I'm out.